great lead into your tip of the week, Eric, because there will always be competition. You're going to have to work for it, and that means you're going to have to think long and hard about how you differentiate.
Absolutely, Rich. So yeah, that is the focus of this week's tip of the week. It is how can MSPs distinguish themselves from this sea of, perceived lookalike competitors. Rich, when we work with our clients at Channel Mastered, one of the questions that we always ask a vendor is who they think their competitors are in the channel. And then we ask them, okay, who do the MSPs that you are targeting to bring into your partner programs think your competitors are? In almost every case, Rich, the answers are different, right? So it's not who you think your competitors are, it's who the people that you're trying to influence think your competitors are, and to create distinction and differentiation. So they think, oh, you're not, oh, okay, then tell me more, right? So it kind of like breaks that that supposition or that subconscious categorization, like, oh, I know what a cybersecurity firm is, right? Well, there's thousands of them, right? How do we create distinction? There are tens of thousands of MSPs. How does one MSP, especially in light of, this mega MSP wave coming, distinguish themselves from their competition or even this, large MSP influence? I'm going to share 3 tips. The first one is develop a niche specialization or specific expertise. So there are a lot of MSPs. I know from my experience, Rich, launching one of the first MSPs back in the day, that we were just trying to serve everyone. I mean, if you could fog a mirror, boy, we wanted to talk to you. And what is it you want us to manage? Oh, sure, we'll manage that. When in fact, we had never managed something like that. I remember we had a client that had a liquor control system. They wanted to upgrade their liquor control system. This is, I found out later, a system where it basically measures all the liquor at the bar and it integrates with their payment systems and all that. And our awesome sales professional said, of course we do that. And then, the engineering team had to figure it all out and get a third party to come bring it in. So instead of trying to serve the masses, right, but specialize in 1, 2, or 3 things that you can do better than anyone else. In some cases, it's, it may not be something that you like to do, but your clients want you to do. Maybe think about bringing in, a third party outsource relationship, things like that, until you learn how to do it and then deliver that. Specializing in a vertical market, specializing in an application suite or platforms or something specific like that. Think, Salesforce or AI, something that is very highly valued by organizations, but they don't really have the expertise to make the most of it. So figure out what your niche specialization is and focus on that, because it allows you, Rich, to focus your marketing to identify those prospects, because you understand what their pain is, because this is what you specialize in. You understand how to make your message much more targeted rather than a generic message. We can, increase your uptime, protect you from cyber threats, right? It's very generic. But if I have an attorney client and I can say, hey, aren't you tired of having to deal with all the updates to your Westlaw application or something like that? I'm blast from the past, Rich. This is how we got a bunch of our legal folks on board, and understanding their pain and target that pain. You'll be much more successful at building that perception of differentiation and get more people that want to talk to you. And because you're specialized, Rich, you're going to command higher rates, right? Because I don't want a general practitioner doing surgery on me. I want the surgeon to do surgery on me, right? Number 2, you mentioned bringing donuts to the office once a month, right? I remember bringing bagels in to client meetings. I remember building stronger, personalized client interactions. So Rich, I'm working with, a lot of MSPs at our, in our sister company, MSP Mastered, that are hiring for and training and delivering like client success roles. And client success isn't the same thing as account management in this respect. It's all about just loving on the clients, making sure that they're integral into the communications that are going on, touching the clients, delivering personalized email messages and calling them on the phone and having virtual meetings. You have someone there that is concerned about how the client, how they're doing, how we're doing for you, and what else can we be doing better. And it's a very unique and distinct role. So you can differentiate yourself by having someone like that on your team that delivers that close knit relationship building juju that a lot of us engineers lack. Rich, third one, leveraging. This is one of the Achilles heels of MSPs. It's marketing. Rich, leverage digital marketing strategies. We we understand, right, generally that a business that outmarkets its competitors is going to attract more attention. This has nothing to do with how well they deliver service or any of that. So you've got to have all that stuff in line as well. But if we are not leveraging a good digital marketing strategy that keeps us in the forefront of the mindset of our prospects and also our clients, I know MSPs that don't have newsletters, Rich. I know MSPs that don't celebrate um, holidays and things like that. I know MSPs that don't track like their clients' business anniversaries and other newsworthy events and help promote that in their digital marketing. It's not about selling. It's all about thought leadership. It's about appreciation. Writing very good articles and promoting that, or looking for different articles of interest, even from third parties that you can send out to your clients on a regular basis. Hey, thought you might be interested in this, keeping them apprised. So it's just a way to leverage digital marketing and automation to deliver consistent touching. Heck, Rich, I think I shared on one of our recent shows where I had an MSP say, you know what, we came up to renewal, and our client basically said to us, well, we haven't really seen you or heard from you all year, so why should we renew with you? Oops, right? We don't want to be making those mistakes, Rich.
So three great pieces of advice. I'm going to quickly comment on them in reverse order, because the last one there was about sales and marketing, or marketing in particular. And Josh Westine, CEO of Logically, who I interviewed this week, he was kind of talking about the advantages that these mega MSPs are going to have. And marketing is very much one of them. I mean, Logically today, before it recapitalizes and gets truly huge, they've got a CMO, right? So they're not kind of figuring out marketing, investing haphazardly in it. They have a CMO who used to, if I remember right, worked at Tech Data for a bunch of years. They're going to be very good at marketing. They're going to have very big marketing budgets. So this is something for you to focus on to keep your name and your image out there. You were talking about the customer success role, and it immediately reminded me of this phenomenon I've seen over the course of the last, 7-ish years, where vendors have introduced a partner success role, where the distinction between the account manager and the partner success professional is the account manager is trying to turn you into a partner, sell you some stuff. The partner success person is trying to make sure that you successfully use the stuff so that you're loyal and you come back for more business. And that's what the customer success role can be at an MSP. You sell them the services, get them on the client role, and then have somebody in there whose only motivation, they're not trying to, sell anyone anything more. They just want to make sure that the end user is getting maximum value from that monthly sum that they're paying. And then you started with specialization, which I've been saying for years. I wrote an article for Channel Pro, and I was the executive editor over there, about the characteristics that the industry's fastest growing MSPs have in common. One of those characteristics was specialization, and for a lot of the reasons that you were talking about. So it will help you differentiate. As you were saying, it'll allow you to command higher rates, and experience would indicate, history would indicate, it will help you grow faster too. Are you muted, Eric? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, just a few tips there to help increase your operational maturity level, increase top line revenue and bottom line profit, and increase client satisfaction. Like that tip number two, that client success, so that customer success role is just all about maximizing client satisfaction. I know, Rich, I think in last week's episode, you talked about a statistic from the service leadership report. I think that it was speaking about NPR, Net Promoter scores, and things like that. The more mature MSPs and the larger clients on the vendor side that we work with, are surveying their clients on a regular basis. So I think that a combination of that, along with the client success role, can help keep tabs on you know client satisfaction as well, but also kind of identify potential situations where a client may be thinking of churning out, right? So getting ahead of that, or maybe identifying early on when a relationship isn't really working out, and taking that the high road and having a very frank discussion with a client about why that may or may not be happening, or why it may or may not make sense to continue the relationship.